Yeah, let's go. Oh man,
False start.
volume is all the way down. Let's go. Show me butthole, Paco.
Another Woodshop podcast with Mike Coffey of Coffee Custom
He's just
Builds,
staring at me.
Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks, Peter Kapar of Peter's Workshop.
It's not gonna lick
Find
itself.
us all, as well as the podcast on Instagram and YouTube.
This BH ain't gonna lick itself.
Welcome to episode 65 of Another Woodshop podcast. A podcast that, if you took an NPR podcast from the top charts and left it out for too long, then ended up at a clearance rack at Ross, you would get Another Woodshop podcast.
We're NPR, the Ross version.
We're just a clearance rack at Ross
podcast. Did you take my Pete joke? You took my Pete joke and made it into a podcast joke.
A little bit. Mike found a doppelganger.
Pete cast. Yeah, it was really weird. Hey, anyway, look, big thank you to everyone who supports the show. You guys are incredible. Our patrons are amazing. If you wanted to support the show in a direct financial way, you can go to patreon.com/ or backslash, one of the slashes, Another Woodshop podcast. IT guy, which one is it? Tell me. No,
Slash.
I think it's the slash from
Please
GR.
slash. People know.
Slash from good podcast. Patreon.com/ from
Slash emoji.
Roses. AWP. Podcast. No, big thanks to all our patrons. You guys are super duper great. You guys really do help. I mean, you guys really support the show. You don't help anything. You actually monetarily support the show and keep it rolling. So big thanks to you. We actually just put a poll up.
What?
In the
No, not you, Pete.
It's not about Pete, not you.
Sorry,
no.
Just checking.
We asked a question and wanted your answers in the Patreon page about everything's starting to open back up again. The pandemic
world.
Yeah, the whole world opening. The pandemic's starting to slow its roll a bit. So people are starting to get out. We've done the Patreon live or the pre-show live on YouTube for, I don't know what, half a year now, maybe longer than that.
A year and a half, 6 or something. Yeah.
The pre-show live? Yeah, it's been like 18 years.
It's been like 8 months, I think.
Yeah, 8 months. Yeah, we've been doing the pre-show live on Fridays, but people are probably starting to want to go out now and do stuff with their families or their significant others or whatever, or go raid a dungeon in WoW or something. Who knows what they're doing? But they're,
I feel attacked.
That was not an attack. It was.
It was.
It was a straight up attack. I'm a level 3 rogue gnome.
Yeah, people want the Friday nights back. The bear den is back to full capacity.
The bear den, the swallow, the white swallow.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
I'll tell you when you're older.
It's a joke. It was a joke I heard when I was younger.
Basically, so we're not top priority anymore.
Right. And we understand it. Like, we totally get it. Like, people want to go out on Fridays and be with their friends and family. So we put a poll out to see what night would be best for people to be available for the pre-show live, and we'll just move our recording night to that. So Pete's going to do a Google form as well, and he's going to put that in the show notes.
This is how I find out?
I just told Pete that's what's going to happen. This is big news to all of us. I came up with it right now. Definitely didn't talk about it before. No, Pete's going to put that in the link to that Google form in the show notes below. We'd love to hear from you. We really want to know, like, what night is going to be best for everyone to do the pre-show live. And, truth be told, I'd like to be able to go out on Friday nights too with my wife. So if we move it off Friday nights, then that'd be great. If it ends up staying Friday nights, then nothing changes. But, we want to find out and hear from you guys what night's going to be best to do the pre-show live and record the show. The upswing is if we do it earlier in the week, patrons get it. We're going to still leave it on Sunday for the release, and patrons get it a few extra days early. So if you're a patron, that's a win for you. If you're not, go vote anyway. So anyway, that's the big show news, but there's no news until you tell us what it needs to be. Man, does that make sense? Decipher it. Both of you look very confused. I think I said the wrong thing.
What? Just blacked out. What happened?
Yeah, I just woke up. Mike went on his stupid pole diatribe for 3 hours.
Wait, what? Who you said? What? Pole?
I was talking about Polish people. Chamfer army.
Chamfer army.
But that's it for my little spiel. I think now, little spiel. Is that my rap name? Or?
Nickname in high school.
That's my name.
I have something I want to add.
Go for it.
Oh,
The 65th anniversary is sometimes referred to as a Sapphire Jubilee.
No, it's not.
That's what it says.
Sapphire
on Wikipedia.
Jubilee.
Yeah.
So what do you give her? You give like a Jubilee. Isn't that like a meal?
Sapphire Jubilee. It's I gave
Sapphire
it a
Jubilee.
Sapphire
Don't look it up on
Jubilee last
Urban
night.
Dictionary. Oh God.
You know it's gonna. Oh, it's going on Urban right now.
Nebraska Sister Lip. Let's jump into this thing right here that Dan sings every week. He's got the voice. He's like a combination of Fergie and Jesus. Oh, beautiful stuff. Great job as always, Dan. We always love your singing and what you've done with words.
Those are the two people you came up with.
What?
Fergie and Jesus.
Yeah, you never seen Step Brothers?
They have the same hair.
Oh,
you never seen Step Brothers? He says when Brendan or whatever sings, he goes, "I can't even look at you right now. Your voice is like a combination of Fergie and Jesus."
why did I miss that?
Like one of the
Because
best
Mike
lines
remembers every line from every
dumb
Will
movie.
Ferrell movie ever.
It's true.
The landlord.
Anyway, Dan, aim for the bushes. What'd you do this week, Dan? There goes my hero.
All right, let's start from the top. Number
From the top
one
to the bottom. Dunlap brought him.
from the top
Unwrapping.
to the bottom, from the side. Sorry, that's a reference.
Did you just do one of these?
Yep. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Okay, from the top. I went to install those bookcase shelf doors things. I don't know what to call them. They're like hidden bookcase doors.
You called them Murphy doors for like 2 months.
I mean, yeah,
Stick
they're
to
Murphy doors. They're Murphy doors. All right, Murphy doors. I didn't ask Murphy if he was okay with
Or the doors.
You know about Murphy's Law, right?
Yeah.
Man, you
Yeah,
should
hit
name
me.
it Murphy's Doors.
Yep.
Right.
Means
So anyways, I
half
went
an
to
inch
install those.
wider.
It turns out that the pivot math is more advanced than the math that I know, and I'm the math guy.
So you forgot the tangent.
I forgot the tangent and the sine and the swoop of the arc.
Cosine.
And
Swoop of the Arc. That's my favorite Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones and the swoop of the arc.
The swoop of the arc.
Anyways,
Show title.
anyways,
65 Swoop of the Arc.
Or Indiana Jones and the swoop of the arc.
anyways, they're not gonna work. And I had Nick Brim come and help me like brainstorm how to
Sounds
make
like a
them
real
work.
Brim job to me.
It was a real Brim job. And here's the thing. I'm gonna like really like pimp Nick Brim here. That guy is wicked smart. Okay, I'm really happy that he's my friend and neighbor, and he's willing to help me out. He came out there. We did some math. We figured it wasn't gonna work. I have
Dan's like this. 1 plus arch.
1 plus arch.
I don't know.
So
Dan's smart. I'm making fun of Dan, making him do hand math, writing on his hand, but Dan's smart. I'm making fun of
I'm relatively
just
moderately
not. He just doesn't
intelligent.
know the swoop of the arc.
What is happening?
Daniel Dunlap and the swoop of the arc. All right.
Like a Dora the
Back on
Explorer
track
episode.
here. I subcontracted Nick to rebuild the doors properly with all the correct math and everything that we figured out, that he figured out. I
1/10
didn't
of the
figure
price.
anything out.
Yeah.
And
For one beer.
one Bud Light.
Miller Lite and a high five.
And he gets the high five in installments.
Is this how Pete usually feels?
Yes.
Doing one fit. Dan's doling them out one finger at a time.
It's high five layaway.
High fives at Kmart.
Okay, blue light special.
Oh god.
Oh, here we go. So Nick is rebuilding the doors. He's working on that. I'm super happy to have him doing that, because I also this week I took another large commission, a very, very large commission. It's not just one thing. It's like 10 different things. It's like 8 side tables, a desk, a planter table. I'm forgetting stuff.
What'd you call it last week? A plant table?
It's just gonna
Table.
hold a plant.
Yeah.
It's another side table.
A plant.
Side table, yeah.
And then that same
And
client had me come out to their place, and I'm also going to build them an outdoor shower for their like beach area and some landings to go from their cement patio to
Their what patio?
The what now?
their concrete patio. Sorry.
Thank you.
Gonna have to
Gosh.
bleep that one.
Their
Yeah.
concrete patio to the beach area. I'm going to build some landings out of the same material that I'm going to build the shower out of. So I'm going to be pretty busy. And
So is it on a beach or is it?
yeah, it's on a beach.
So there's
in
just,
Nebraska.
there's sand.
Lake house.
There's-
It's a lake. It's a lake house, right?
Is there
a lake
actually
house.
sand? So
Yes.
let me actually. I'm curious. Did they flatten that with like a sand bony?
You really shoehorned
Nice
that in
job
there
working
way
it
too
in.
hard. Jeez.
Pre-show joke. For those of you that are confused, Mike bought a sander that's the size of a Zamboni.
Something like that.
Sand
Anyway.
pony.
Back to you.
That's-
You're building a shower.
Sort of been. I
Back
don't
to
even
you.
know if I don't even know if like I explained what my week has been crazy, and I went
Keep
camping.
going.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You're good.
I forget. I've lost track. You guys have
How was the
interrupted me so
camping
much.
trip?
It was
Oh,
great.
chill.
I loved it.
How are the
you guys
frogs?
I loved it. The flags.
Those frogs were. Someone need to give one of them a whistle for one.
What did I call him that night when I texted you guys?
We can't say it.
We can't say it. It was demonetized.
I wish we could. I could barely remember. I was camping, drinking by myself. Anyway, Pete,
you're-
tell me about your week. Help me out.
Sure.
Help.
Yeah. Help. And now you guys interrupt. Okay. So my weekend started with
Sand bony.
with the Saturday. Saturday, I ate oatmeal for breakfast. Then I had some
gosh.
orange juice and coffee. Kidding. I got some new tools this weekend because I needed some retail therapy. Because I had I fixed that damn washing machine, and after
Oh yeah, the
fixing,
tranny. Yeah.
I fixed the tranny. The problem I ran into was that I should have stuck my finger all the way to the bottom to feel if all the tranny parts were good. They were not. There was an O-ring that slipped off all the way at the base of the shaft.
Speaking of
Okay,
O-rings and
what is
shafts, I'm sorry. Speaking of O-rings and shafts,
Yes, Dan.
did you know that 65 is the code for international direct dial to Singapore?
Well, actually, that's a great transition. That was actually
That was good.
on topic. Speaking of tranny shafts, Singapore.
Oh, God.
What is happening? This used to be a woodworking podcast.
Yeah. just
It
too
was
much
never a
giggling.
woodworking.
Man.
Jesus freaking Christ. All right. Anyways. Anyways, so I install it on the machine and then it starts it spins one way and then it starts making a horrible sound in the other direction when it was supposed to do the
Like frogs, by chance?
yeah, like frogs in Nebraska. Oh, it was really bad. So of course I was just super frustrated. I'm like, I just ordered all these parts. It was $100 worth of parts, but it was all that labor that I put into it. And I felt really good because I fixed it and it wasn't working. So I was like, I need to walk away from this. I'm hella pissed. I was just like, I had a rough week. I was very angry this whole week. And I just went to Emma. I just need to go shopping. I was gonna go buy some tools
Want
this
to go to
weekend.
Target, Emma?
I just want to go to Target. I need 3 frames. I
Shoes.
just need frames, shoes and frames. That's all I want.
Dude,
And you know what? I need a candle. So I need a candle. So we went to the male Target, I went to Home Depot. And-
Bonfire. James Bonfire.
Exactly. I went to the orange store and the blue store to try to find the best deals on tools. And I was like really disappointed. I ranted about this and a bunch of people messaged me that like there was really no good deals during this holiday for Memorial Day. There was no real sales.
You
I'm
know,
not gonna buy it.
Memorial Day isn't about sales.
Yes, it's about our heroes. Take off your cap. Okay. It is. No, it's a great holiday, but
shut down.
it's another reason there's sales usually, and there really wasn't any. So I've been waiting to buy a couple of tools. I got a one of the DeWalt battery powered oscillating cutter tools. I forget what they're called.
multi-tool.
Multi-tool, I guess multi-tool. Yeah, I got that. I ended up getting a jigsaw. I got the 20-volt brushless, also battery powered.
oscillating Cutting tool.
Also an oscillating cutting tool. So I got the Sawzall and I got a bad but pressure washer really nice one. 32 PS or 3200 psi.
32
Husqvarna.
psi.
32
Man.
psi.
Just straw.
So I got this Husqvarna pressure washer, and oh man, I love pressure washing. Pressure washing porn is a real thing now. It's like, you know, when they cleans off dirt and grime off things. So satisfying. Yes,
Yeah, I watched that on washhub.com.
Beautiful. I go to UWash. That's my favorite. Anyways, I love using a pressure washer. It's great. So at the next place, the deck looks really bad and it needs to get cleaned. They
You gotta
wanted
pressure wash your deck.
15. Yeah. It's I actually have a company coming out to pressure wash the house. It's $250 to wash the whole house. I asked them how much the deck would be. $1,500 to wash the deck.
I don't understand how that's
I
possible.
don't.
You've told us the story before. I don't.
Yeah, and
understand.
I did the math just, but
I feel like they're gonna steal all your stuff.
Yeah.
I don't
So
understand, like,
I'm
you're
just
wake
gonna
up in a
wash it
bathtub.
We got
myself.
that
Full of ice,
32
your
psi
skin's gonna hurt.
pressure washer. You should do it yourself.
That's why I got it. Well, we watched
Maybe
it.
that's why it's $1,500. They're using the 32 psi pressure washer. It's going to take 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's it. But I got that. I got a good deal. It was only $250. Yay, Costco, for like a $500 pressure washer, which is dope. Gotta love Costco deals sometimes. Anyways, after that, so I got some new tools. Very excited about that. I smoked some of the best ribs that I have ever smoked in my life. Like, no joke. These were incredible. I did them for Memorial Day weekend. Took me 6 hours to make on that small bullet minion-sized smoker. And I got a lot of compliments from Javion Chamey. He complimented me. So he smokes meats all the time. So I respect that.
Yeah, he does.
But yo, those ribs came out so good. Oh, the bone was just falling right out. So good. Go ahead.
If you're smoking meat, you're
Mhm.
basically a pole smoker.
Okay. Explain it.
Nope.
Show your work.
Nope.
Show
You're
your
a
work.
Polish guy? Nope.
And I smoked her. Show your work, Dan.
No. Don't make this weird.
I'm making it weird.
Just live with the joke.
All right. Aside from that, I got a bunch of deliveries this week. One of which was super exciting. I got the spindle for my my lathe, so I can replace this. Dan broke the lathe before he sold it to me. He didn't tell me. That's fine. Whatever. I'm not bitter.
I
But
didn't sell it to you.
I'm
I
kidding.
gave it to you.
Pay for shipping, and I bought you dinner. But no, it wasn't Dan. It was I think the previous owner. He had beat it up or something. They really cranked on the chuck. Has like little screws in it, and they must have taken some big hits on a big bowl or some turning.
Well, he
piece
told
of
me
it.
something was wrong with it. And I was
Yeah,
like,
so the spindle is true, but the thread is screwed up. So I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna buy a new spindle. So I got to get that replaced this week. But I'm excited to have it. I also got a new. Well, we all did. We got a new sanding system from Peak Safety. So I want to try that out. That was one of the reasons I
Sanding
was.
system?
not a
Well,
sander.
I'm sorry. Respirator system for sanding or spraying or whatever. And it looks really good. And I wanted to try it out. Cooking, if you are bad at cooking, if you're really bad at cooking.
If you're really bad at cooking.
Actually, it would be great for smoking meats because you get the little pack. That'd be great.
Pole smoking mask.
Pole smoking mask.
Okay.
Yep. And
Yeah, doubling down on that one, huh?
oh, he's doubling down on that one.
Doubling
Doubling down. And then I had some printer news. So Josh from North Country Woodworks, he lives in at Fort Dix in New Jersey. I can say it. It's the name. It's with an X because it's edgy. He bought one of my minis. So he came up, we chatted for a bit, hung out, had some beers, and
Did he buy the pocket Prusa?
the pocket Prusa. He bought one of the pocket Prusas. I kept the other one. Yeah. Guy gets lonely. He wants to print. And then I think my third Mark III, I started setting up yesterday, and I kept working on it today. And today I did like an impromptu live with I grabbed Dave from 3D DIY Dave. He's another guy that 3D prints in our community. I think he sent some stuff to you, Mike, as well. He's pretty cool. He's super
He's good.
nice.
I like Dave.
He's local to me too, and I just like impromptu within like half hour. I was like, "Hey, do you want to do a live right now?" Because I was going to do a live about the printer. Because I get asked all the time, "Hey, what printer should I get? How do I get into 3D printing? What modeling software do you use?" I just figured let's just do a live. How do we get rid of body? Like, well, You
I
use
was
a
Wrap it in
program
the
called
print.
Slicer, and then never mind. That's what you use for 3D printing. Anyways, so yeah, we just did that live, and it literally right out of that live, we hopped into our pre-show here. I had a pretty stressful week. Started with the washing machine, and then we had a lot of drama around the house closing, where maybe our realtor wasn't communicating all the information to us, and we got upset with him.
By we, you mean you.
Oh yeah, I got mad. I got really upset. Yeah, Emma had to spray me with a water bottle because I was going off. I was dragging my butt on the carpet and everything. Anyways, so we took care of all that. It looks like everything is mostly locked down. I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but there's a lot of drama. There's still a couple things that are unknowns, but everything looks like it is on track for July 6th as an official closing date. It's just after 4th of July, so no barbecue at the new house. But I'm excited. I think this is actually officially happening, and we got it locked down. So hopefully I can get set up ASAP and get the boys to come out and help me set everything up.
Look, I'll believe it when I see it.
I know you think it's fake.
I've
I
been
totally
lied
get it.
to one too many times.
That's fine. That's the reason I have Emma on my on my
dishes.
podcast, on my Instagram so much, because people thought she was fake. So she just goes to show you guys.
Remember
I
that
ju-
joke when she was your daughter? That was
Oh,
pretty
that-
funny for a few
that
weeks.
That was funny until
That
they
was-
got married.
Until we got
Yeah,
married,
they
that
got
was
married,
rough.
It was like,
Yeah.
oh, awkward.
Alabama 100. Also,
Alabama plus 100.
I just want to officially, before I pass it off to Mike, I just want to officially say some words. We had some people reach out that live in the mountain time zone, and I hope that us shouting you guys out and giving you proper time made it easy, considering you're hill folk that live in the mountains and couldn't figure out what time the live was based on the other times you had.
He's
I love
really
you all.
angry.
Way
I
to
lo-
figure it out with reference.
I love you all. Anyways, Mike, what's going on with you?
You know, I'm really having a hard time remembering my week. I've been like sitting here with a pen and pad, like, what did I do? And then I remembered I spent my whole week basically
Because
spraying.
all the spraying.
Yeah, I
to
sprayed
say.
like the whole week.
The whole
Should have been
week.
wearing your
was,
peak safety mask. It's ruined your.
I
Why do I
actually
brain
did
cells?
wear my peak safety mask
How was
this week,
the-
and it was
tarp system that you got.
oh man, that works so good. I mean, it doesn't hurt that Fuji has like no overspray, but I mean, it worked out great. I mean, I
You
got
still
that
got the
thing-
math on your hand.
Yeah, the Dunlap math. One.
You actually
plus-
wrote it?
Yeah, I wrote
Gotcha.
1 plus swoop of the arc equals not gonna fit.
You
No,
mean
yeah.
one plus close parentheses?
No, yeah, that system, man, I'm really glad I got it. It really just exacerbates the fact that I need more space in my shop so bad. Like, I couldn't do anything this week. Putting that up is fantastic, but I can't access my miter saw, and I had some big pieces to cut down, and I couldn't do them until today. I took today off from my day job and just
Lazy.
caught up on orders. I know, coward. And
Coward.
yeah, I needed it really bad. I needed to catch up today because tomorrow, my cousin's over in the morning. We're delivering the teak table and bench that I've been working on. That job went really smooth, really fast. I mean, there wasn't much to it in terms of I just had to do the finish prep, get the thing ready for the base and stuff like that. So, delivering that tomorrow, picking up a 4-foot by 10-foot river table. Customer of mine that I had flattened the slabs for, he's got a river table ready. I actually picked up the base for it. He had it powder coated. I actually need to tell you guys about that off the air, about something that happened funny today with that. But I picked up the base for that, and I'm going to be flattening his table, putting in C-channel, and attaching the base, and then re-delivering it back to him. So that's a good job. He's a good guy. That customer is really cool. He's got me. I'm going to be doing a couple of barn doors for him too here in a few weeks. So that's going to be good. Let's see what else happened this week. It really was just mostly spraying. I'm kind of starting to like physically and mentally hit a wall in terms of how much longer I can do these two jobs right now, like the day job and, you know, coffee custom builds. It's getting really close, but I'm really having a hard time at night. Like I'm getting to the point where like my eyes and head hurt at night, and I'm starting to feel kind of sick. Like it's like just starting to be too much on my body.
No, no.
So
That's because you're 65 now. That has nothing to do.
65
Yeah.
is relevant. Why?
Well, because 65 miles per hour is the common speed limit on expressways in many U.S. states.
Thank you, Dan.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I'm like this week I've been kind of only working in the shop till like 9 o'clock at night and just going in and calling it a night. And most
Well, at
of
least
that
you got
was
a strong
spraying and
heart. And there's been
Right.
no attacks in your life.
There's been no attacks. Things are going great there. Great ticker. Sand Boney. And then yeah, but mostly been spraying this week. Oh, I got so I've got that big conference table that I'm doing right now. And I've got I talked with the customer out there, the general contractor, asked me if I could do some more work out there. It looks like that's going to be a go, which I'm really excited about. I worked out a deal with they need a licensed contractor, which I am not, but my friend is a general contractor. He I know. Okay, look at these.
Just a big old
buddy,
coward.
Just a big coward.
Mike Coward.
Mike Coward Copy. That's what they call me. If I had a morning radio, drive time radio show, it'd be Coward Stern.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, yeah. Coward Custom Builds.
Coward Custom.
Not afraid of any job.
Yeah. But yeah, I got this job where I'm gonna acquire the material, mill it all up, get it all prepped, and then my guy, who's a licensed contractor, he'll have his guys do the install. So looks like that's gonna work out, which is really cool. That's another good job. I landed a job for this poker table, which I'm really excited to build this poker table. It's gonna be really cool. I'm just waiting for them to pick the final design on the legs. I sent them the rent. I did work on that this week. I did a bunch of design this week, actually. That's right. I rendered up this poker table with 2 different leg designs on it. They decided they wanted to go with metal base. Seems to be how my life goes right now. So they wanted to go with a metal base on it, and I sent them 2 different designs for metal base on that. So, and then, oh, that's right. I made a bench. I made this bench this week. I had this cedar slab, and you know, I got a customer who I'm making a table for. I wanted to make a sample of some cedar with this stain on it. I think it's pretty clear what my feelings are on stain. I do not like staining furniture, and that hasn't changed. I still don't like staining stuff, and I'm not really a big fan of it. But I did stain this cedar bench just to get basically a sample piece for my customer, and it didn't like ruin the piece. I would have rather had it have no stain on it though. But the bench actually came out nice. It looks good. It's going to be nice. It's just no one's ever going to sit on it. It's going to end up being something my wife puts her plants on in the front porch.
So it's a plants bench?
It's a plant stand more than anything. It's a plant table. Whatever Dan called us. It's a plant table. So I did that this week, and I could actually go take pictures of that and send it to my customer. So and then just a lot of design. I designed a little plant stand, like an actual little plant stand, because I actually wanted to list one on my Etsy.
Get it right.
It's a mini plant table. I wanted to list one on my Etsy store, so I came up with a design that looks. I'm pretty sure I can just like knock it out and slap it out. So I wanted to get that built tomorrow and make it for my wife, and then get it up on the Etsy store as an option for something to sell in there. And yeah, that's kind of really it. My week's just been, honestly, I'm slammed at my day job. We're doing the transfer right now. We're transferring all my responsibilities over to different people. We had a big IT changeover this week too. With it's dumb stuff. We changed out a bunch of hardware at the office, and it was just well, it's done now, so that's all that matters. It was kind of a nightmare.
I can't relate.
Yeah, right.
You basically just described my May. It was just a lot of sighing and not wanting to finish sentences.
It is. I don't know who listens to this show. It didn't go smooth. So anyway, but it's done now, and also we're doing some pretty cool training at work. I don't know if you guys have heard of Dale Carnegie.
Owner of Carnegie Hall,
I believe
Carnegie
he has something
Mellon.
to do with Carnegie Hall, but
yeah, he's an author too.
He's not alive anymore, but he was alive a long time ago. He wrote how to be like
how to win friends and influence people.
Yes, that's exactly
How to build halls.
So we are actually everyone in all the management in our company at my family business is we're taking a 6-week course for their Dale Carnegie classes. I'm actually really enjoying it, and I'm taking a lot out of it as someone who's going to be going full time with a small business. I'm taking a lot out of it. Some of my coworkers aren't really as excited about it, but I'm actually really enjoying the classes a lot. They've been really in the books. They're actually pretty.
The courses, the book, all that is invaluable information.
Yeah, it's like it's really good stuff, and I'm really glad I get to take it. In fact, the classes are going to continue past when I'm not working at the family business. I'm going to keep showing up for the classes so I
Oh,
can
cool.
continue through the whole course because I think I get a certificate. And I just kind of want that stuff, looks good on the old resume.
Here's a little thing I learned from the book that I'll never forget. People can tell if you're smiling on a phone, which means people can tell if you're smiling and in a good mood on a podcast. So you can usually hear when one of us is smiling and happy.
Tell
The
me, am I smiling right now?
No,
No,
you're not.
There's not a
Great.
cheese curd or Menards around you. You're not happy.
Around? How big is the cheese curd?
I'm only happy if I'm wrapped in curds.
Curds. Curd blanket.
Curds. A curd. What are those stupid pajamas that adults would wear? The onesies. What are they called?
Oh, what were those called? We have some of those.
Yeah, of course
Not
you
the
do.
ShamWow.
Oh, Snuggie, but a curdy.
Yep.
The Snuggie.
Curdy.
Anyway, all right. So yeah, that class is actually really cool, and I'm actually really enjoying it. Anyway,
Let's go.
Let's get out of that. That's totally not boring.
All right,
for everyone.
I'm going to cut you off. I'm not going to do a 65 fact. I swear to God. You said a word that's had me scratching my head ever since.
You have to bing it.
Exacerbate? Does that mean what I think it means?
I didn't say
No. It doesn't mean do it so much that you're exhausted. No. It's
All
different.
right. Just had to ask.
Exacerbate. You're so stupid. I'm gonna write it in my hand. Exacerbate. No, let's jump into questions. This first question is from Andrew Kremer. He's with Alpha Kilo Woodworking. Let me make sure my
It's ironic
volume's
his
up.
name has Kilo in it, and he's asking this question.
Andrew Kremer, Alpha Kilo. Is
Kilo,
that a Band-Aid? Oh,
metric.
my Band-Aid came off. That's good. Here we go.
What are you, Nelly? What?
Hey, what's up, gents? Andy from Alpha Kilo Woodworking. Unfavorable opinion, but I am finding favor in the metric system. There, I said it out loud. I put it out in the open. I can dig on the metric system. This cart that I'm building was originally designed in the metric system, and obviously it was plugged into software to convert it into imperial because I'm having to measure something down to the 21/64th. I don't have time for that. I don't have anything that even goes that small. But what I do have is something that can go to a whole number. And that's what the metric system can offer me. And that I find favorable. So my question or statement to the three of you guys is, have you ever considered converting to the metric system? Half and half? A smattering of squares, rules, and equipment that measures to the metric system?
Measures.
Or do you just say, F it, and I am an imperial elitist, and I will never use the metric system? Dan. Anyway, hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks for all that you do. Podcast is a blast. Cheers.
Let's go to Dan since his answer is one word.
Nope.
Pete, what about you?
Tak, which is European for yes. Yeah, hell yeah, metric all the way.
Oh,
Now,
Pecos
Pecos here, yeah. Hello, Peco. Did you know cats
Hello,
are metric? They're metric dogs. That's all they are. Cats are metric dogs.
Episode 65. Cats are metric
Dogs. Yes, I use metric every single day. Probably more than I use imperial. I use imperial for general building, and I'm making tables or some kind of furniture or whatever. But if I'm making exact things, like if I'm doing 3D printing, CNC, laser work, or something very, very exact where it needs to have certain precision, you best be damn sure that I am doing metric. Even when I'm milling lumber, when I line up, like I'll joint a bunch of boards and then I'll use my calipers. I love using my calipers, and I got a lot of crap for getting digital calipers because there's a bunch of elitists out there with calipers too. But these allow me to convert from metric to imperial really quickly. I can find a measurement, click a button, and I'm going from imperial to metric. So when I mill a bunch of lumber, I joint it all, I throw it on a bench, and then I put it in thickness order. And instead of going fractions, crazy fractions, trying to figure out which one's bigger, I just use metric. It's 27 millimeters, 28, 27, 27 and a half, whatever. And I line them up, and then I run them through the joiner, fattest to thinnest. It's very easy. So yes, my answer is metric is great. Imperial's very good and has its place, and I use it a lot. But when you're trying to get into detail, you got to look at metric. Mike?
I use pretty much Imperial on everything, but I do use metric every once in a while, and I have no problem with it. I just haven't transitioned. I haven't made the transition yet to metric.
Haven't got full metric tranny.
Yeah, I have no. I mean, I can see the value in it for sure. I think if you're someone who just hates change, for sure you don't want to. No, I see the value in it for sure because just how it's more granular. It's a
So
more
when you CNC, do you
system.
do metric? You do Imperial for CNC?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I leave Aspire in there, but I do often design in metric. So I mean, yeah, that's weird. Why do I do that? I don't even know why I do that. Actually, I do often design in metric.
Too much exacerbating.
You go blind.
Dan is not. Good one. All right, next question's from Jake Miller. I think we obviously answered that perfectly. Here's Jake's question.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jake Miller from ASI Shop Life on Instagram, and just had a question about kind of getting started with a little bit more as far as content creation. So I've done some, basic videos here and there on Instagram, and obviously, pictures and that sort of thing. But I'm wanting to start expanding a little bit more. Basically, just put out some better quality content. Right now, I'm filming everything on my phone, and wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were on kind of an entry-level camera, something to just to step things up a little bit. And also with that, what video editing software do you guys use? So, anyways, great show. I appreciate the feedback. Thanks, guys.
Dan.
Is he looking to take photos or photos and video? I missed that part.
He said he wants to do editing, so I'm assuming videos. It sounded like he wanted to do videos.
I think we're going to all have the same answer, right? I think the Canon M50 is a great entry-level camera for any content creator.
Yeah. Yep. Canon M50 for me is my answer.
Pete?
I mean, I agree, but I kind of want to give him another option. And that's, I mean, for me, that's going to be get whatever the latest iPhone is and use that, because there's plenty of content
creators. He's got the iPhone 12. I've talked to him many times in DMs, I think.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you get a different quality from different cameras, but there's plenty of YouTubers out there like Bourbon Moth, Jason Hibbs, right? Yeah, like one of my favorite channels to watch.
And KJ Sawdust.
Yeah, all iPhone. They do all their recording on an iPhone, and it's really whatever the newest, latest, greatest Android phone is. I'm not gonna say one or the other, but like go with that. They're phenomenal cameras, and honestly, if you're gonna spend $1,200 on a phone, it better have an amazing camera, and most of these do. So I think an iPhone or an Android phone is not the worst way to go.
I want to revise my answer a little bit.
Oh, here we go.
No,
I'm kidding. Please.
You had a great answer, but the Canon M50 and most SLR lens or SLR cameras or DSLR cameras in this instance, you're going to have to invest in a lens system.
Yep.
Maybe if you want just a good camera that'll take good photos and a video that you don't want to be using your phone, get the Canon GX7 or G7X. I'm sorry. It's a great little starter camera. It's about $650. Great quality video, great quality photos, and you ain't got to mess with buying lenses, because that is another rabbit hole you're going to go down. Lenses are expensive.
Yeah, the glass is all that matters on a camera, really. I mean,
absolutely.
I would also recommend look into the Sony line, because Sony has some really good cameras that perform really well. I think Paul Jackman shoots on a Sony, and you can get some custom lenses for that as well. They kind of focused they went with the point and shoot design, and they were like, okay, we're gonna do adjustable or replaceable lenses on it, and they focused on video, and it looks really good. So look at the Sony line as well, but you're going to be looking at about, you know, also like a $600 to a basically an iPhone price, like $1,200 for that. But if you're looking at an SLR like the M50, M50 is great. The kit lens is okay, but man, I have that 16 millimeter, and the Sigma. Oh my god, that thing's amazing. I pretty much don't take it off. It's so great.
My Sigma stays on mine.
I misspoke. The M50 is not an SLR. It's a
mirrorless.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same concept. You can buy different lenses and stuff for it. It's got interchangeable lenses.
Yeah, I am not a camera expert on any level. I am comfortable with my M50. I've learned the value of good glass. I have a nifty 50 lens, which is a 50 millimeter lens on my M50. I don't change that out as often as I used to, just because less time nowadays. I know that when I have more time, I'll go back to using that again for tight shots. My 16 millimeter stays on my camera almost at all times. And I get most of what I need with those. I would actually like a wider angle lens for mine.
I know what you mean.
So I need to hit Dan up and get some good ideas on that, or Nick Key up to get some good ideas on an even wider angle lens. But yeah. And then in terms of editing, I edit in Final Cut Pro exclusively. I've edited like 2 videos in the last probably 7 months in LumaFusion, which is another app I've used, and I was rarely happy with LumaFusion. I am happier with Final Cut though. LumaFusion's an iOS app. It's on iPhone and iPad, and actually they just made it. If you have the M1 Mac, you can use it on the M1 Mac. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so it's available on there. It's a pretty powerful program for what it is. It's very powerful for what you pay for it. Final Cut Pro is pretty expensive. I wouldn't recommend jumping right into that. No, Dan and Pete will mention another editing program that they like a lot that I've never used.
Yeah, I like to use InShot on my iPhone. I mean, I think it's great for what it is. It's pretty simple.
Lots of people.
I paid the upgrade fee to get rid of the
$5 or something.
Yeah, it was really cheap. I mean, it's the
get rid of the ads.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Or I think if you pay it, it gets rid of the little InShot like watermark it puts on all your images and videos. But I think it's great.
Those watermarks. Those videos look like trash. Like when you're putting up when you're like doing a page and you got that video that says InShot or whatever watermark on there, spend the $4. If you can't spend $4, if you say to yourself, I want to grow my page or do whatever, if you can't spend $4 to do it, you don't want to grow your page.
Yep.
You want someone to give you like something.
Also,
if you can't make a small investment on something, that's not for you.
Maybe unpopular opinion. When you post a video on Instagram of a TikTok video, like your own TikTok video that you downloaded from TikTok, I don't think that looks good. I think just like because it does that TikTok filter overlay with the TikTok thing flickering and your name in there. I don't think that looks good. Like make the video, dump it into all the platforms for their format. Don't use one. Like at least Instagram, if you download the video, it's a regular video. There's no overlay on it.
Well, if you edit the videos, you have the raw file.
Yes, but some people record
edit in TikTok because it has.
Is that what's happening?
TikTok?
And then they're downloading it, but it has the watermark in there.
Yeah, like I've actually been making certain videos in Reels, in the Reels option, just like in TikTok. TikTok does give you a lot of different options. Same thing with Reels, it gives you a lot of options, but it doesn't let you export the music. That's the biggest issue that you get. It just cuts out the audio because it's all copyrighted music. So that's one way to do it. But yeah, I use InShot as well. But like I said, don't be afraid to use the Reels option. Like Reels is kind of powerful. It does have like word overlays, whatever. It's their TikTok competitor. So it does have some options in there. However, I like InShot. It's got a lot of royalty-free music. It's great. It's easy to import from if you have like Epidemic Sounds. And then for computer editing, I use Final Cut now. I use DaVinci Resolve for a little bit, but it is crazy RAM heavy, like super RAM heavy. So if your computer can't handle it, you're going to have a bad time.
It's true. I don't know about that. I'm just going off of Pete's information. So it's like the Chrome of editors. This next question is from Jay Mouter.
Hey.
Jay's question.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Jay Mouter from Mouter Woodwork. Listened to you guys for quite a while now. It's my first time calling in, I suppose. But anyways, I had a quick question about Etsy. So I've posted a few items on Etsy, not too many. Anyways, I'm wondering if I should be branding my items that I'm putting on Etsy, since people that are buying these items probably don't know who I am. Should I brand my items I put on Etsy or leave them blank? What do you guys think? Let me know. Been enjoying the show? Keep it up.
Pete.
Hell yeah, brand your items. Hell yeah, brand them. Brand them all. Doesn't have to be obvious and in the front, whatever. Your brand should be somewhere on your items. 100%. That's just my take. Dan?
If you're not going to brand your items, at least include like a business card, some stickers, some sort of branding material. That's what I do. I will include stickers, a card. I even include our podcast sticker whenever I sell an Etsy order, so people know that, oh, what is this? And they kind of look at it.
I'm a
So
lot of those. I need more.
yeah, I'm actually too. Mike, what do you think?
I think you definitely should brand your stuff. I think that even if they aren't people from your especially if they aren't people from your following, people by and large on Etsy, if they don't know who you are and they're not there because of your page, they are there because they want to probably support a small business, and they probably want, I think they like that brand being on there and seeing that it's made by a small business. So
Yeah.
I would also suggest making that logo pretty small and inconspicuous a bit, but there. I use my laser. I'm fortunate enough to have a laser. If you don't have a laser and you have a brand, if you have one of the bigger brands, I know Pete has like that smaller variation of his logo, which is really cool. I would pay to get a small brand, to put a very small brand on your thing. You don't want it to be, on the not, business side of the thing. Put it somewhere where it's kind of hidden. If it's a cutting board, put it on the side that isn't going to get used as much, or whatever, however you're going to do it. But I'd definitely get it on there and get some branding involved. It's your product. Use it to your advantage.
If I may, that's a really good point, actually. So I made that small brand particularly for Etsy and cutting boards and things that like I didn't want to do my full brand on. And like we all have a small version of our brand. Like Dan's is just a DDWW. Like if you tag that from far away, I see your logo. I'm like, that's Dan. I don't need the whole thing right now. If I see a mustache and a beard in that formation, I know that's Mike's. Like I don't even need to see coffee. But like and this goes back to, I had a conversation with a friend of mine that's in marketing like years ago at this point. And they're like, what does like Nike, Adidas, all these guys have in common is that they can drop just the swoosh or the 3 stripes or whatever. You don't need the lettering. You don't need any of the Adidas TM or register, whatever. Like
brand
you don't need, brand recognition. And yeah, it might be 500 people on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, but if they see, Mike Coffey's mustache and beard or DDWW, I'm like, I know that. Wait, he does YouTube videos or whatever. Like brand recognition. That's what you want. You want something of your logo. Well, some of us have very complex logos, and that's perfectly fine. You want a logo that's recognizable, but then you want one that's also like people can spot and go, I know that guy. I know who that is. So you want that. Yeah. Tag it. Street tag.
it.
Like DeResta. That's all he does. DeResta. His name is the brand. We all know it. End of rant. End of rant.
This next question is from Josh the Dad. He's a new caller.
He's a new caller
before. Yeah. Josh the Dad.
Hey guys, it's Josh the Dad. Yep, Josh the Dad 1 of the Big IG. I'm finally sending something in after 14 weeks. But in woodworking years, Dan, you'll have to help me convert this. I believe that comes out to be 2 years, 13 months, and 37 days. But,
Accurate.
I'm not a math guy. No, I'm here. I'm still here. I'm still cruising along, living life. But I want all the listeners to know there can only be one Josh the Dad. You like that? Josh the Dad 1. There can only be one. Anyways, joking aside. No, I'm okay. Right after I sent in that 50th episode message, we got nailed with the Rona. And after that, it just, for anybody that's had it, understands. If you've had it really bad, then you really understand. But you get knocked off your game and you can't deal with life all smooth and peachy like you used to. Things are a little different now. My brain is still not quite focused, and not in a bad way. I'm okay, but we have that, and then our kids are growing up and their sports. So we had soccer season, we had graduation of a high schooler, graduation of an 8th grader. It's been a really busy time the last 14 weeks. So, but I'm still here. I'm still moving. I'm still grooving. Working hard, doing the best we can, but having fun. So, but I do have a question this week, and it has to do with wood. With the inflation of wood, and we all know that market's going to crash eventually, but I feel like it's an investment when I buy wood pieces now. I have all these pieces of scrap in the garage, and I know you guys all talk about like clean all your scraps and get them out of there. They don't, they're taking up space, and that's great. But if I throw them away, I feel like I'm throwing money out the door. What are your thoughts on that? Okay. Have a great week, guys. Talk to you later.
I'll go first. First, I want to say, Josh, I'm glad you're feeling better. And all the jokes about you being dead to us, they're true. You're dead to us. But we're really glad you're back. No, it really, really is sad to hear about.
We have Mo the Show now, Jake the Mills. Like, we got all these guys. We don't go on.
Mo the Show. No, we're glad you're calling in. Thanks for calling in, Josh. I mean, Corona, the virus didn't hit my family directly. I mean, we have family members that got hit. It sounds like it kind of ravaged you guys and messed you guys up for a while. So glad you guys are on the mend. And as far as the wood thing, you're right. Wood is a capital investment in your business. And obviously with the price, I mean, I bought a bunch of walnut right before prices went insane. I have a huge value of walnut in my hands right now. When we say get rid of scraps, it is good to keep wood. It's good. It's a value. There's value there. The problem becomes when the wood is physically in your way and constraining you from being able to do your work. Also, you need to be able to realistically look at the piece and go, is there any value in this? Can I actually, and will I actually make something out of this? If you're not going to, I would say maybe ask someone locally if they can use it. And if that's not going to happen, throw it in the trash or burn it, whatever you're going to do with it. I have a big like trash can, like a metal trash can where I throw the pieces that I know I won't use. But there's a couple local guys who do pin turning, and they'll come and go through it I text them and say, hey, come go through the garbage can. And they'll go through my garbage can and they'll grab everything they can. They'll come by. It's not as like gross as it sounds. They're not like a Cookie Monster or something. They'll go through. They know what it is. It's a nice metal garbage can.
There's a cheeseburger in here.
Yeah, there's a half-eaten Happy Meals. It's perfect. No, they'll go through and grab what they can use. I don't have a pen. I don't have a lathe, or I can't. So they can take advantage of it. And then there's a lot of stuff that ends up just being fire starters for us in the winter when we're doing the fireplace and the fire pit and stuff. So it's when you have like a pile of crap that is inhibiting you from being able to be productive. That's when it's really an issue. It's definitely, I have a rack that's 2 foot wide, 4 foot tall, and then another one that's 2 foot wide and 4 foot tall, full of offcuts. I probably have 30 cutting boards in those racks that I could make. So, I mean, I'm keeping them because I will make cutting boards. Once the holiday season hits again, I know it's going to be insane again. It's going to just be insane. But if it's a piece of walnut that's 1/8 of an inch thick and 49 inches long and has live edge on it, I can't keep it. It doesn't make sense for me to keep. I cannot keep it. I got to throw it out. Dan, what about you?
I agree with everything Mike said. I 100% agree with him. And I was living that life. And when him and Rusty came out and visited me last year, they kind of like,
October?
Yeah, it's been a while, almost a year now.
Yeah.
They kind of like, I always say like they forced me to throw things out, but like they shed the light on, it was becoming a hindrance in trying to get work done because I was tripping over stuff. But now that I have the CNC, I actually find myself reverting back to those old ways of keeping all the small stuff.
You can make the trays and stuff now, like all kinds of stuff.
You can make trays. I
Yep.
make bow ties. I make all sorts of little things. And I'm like, oh, I have to use this little 3x3 square of walnut for something.
Mm-hmm.
But actually just today, just today, I was like, hey, am I going to use it? No. Started a fire and I started off. You just got to be and not start tripping over stuff, like Mike said.
Yep.
Pete,
Thank you. Just waiting for that toss. I went on a.
twice.
Oh, you've been
breaking
cutting
up a
out
bit.
for
Yeah,
us.
for a while.
I should have done this. That's okay.
So
So
look at this from now on.
so anyways, no, I'm all about keeping scraps to a certain point. I have a bin of scraps, and if that fills up, I get another bin, and I fill up that one, I get another bin, and I fill up that one. I'm kidding. I just fill up the one bin, and I do have like a genuine like this is trash bucket, and if I throw it in there, it's going in a fire pit. Unless I'm like, oh, I need this piece to like clamp something or whatever, and then I toss it anyways. But that's the fire pit pile, and I have one bucket now of offcuts, and I will keep that only and nothing else. And I'm a big proponent of, if you're gonna keep these things, you better glue them up into cutting boards, tray blanks, or pen turning blanks, whatever. Like, make them useful. The guys were making fun of me because I was making trays for like a month and a half at one point because I just kept finding scraps around the shop, and I was just gluing up these trays, and they were either selling like hotcakes or I was giving them away left and right or using them around the house. Having little trays is amazing. Like, I'm able to just have like these little holders for random things around the house now, and they look nice. It's not a cheap piece of crap plastic thing. It's like this beautiful hardwood finish in a nice finish, and it's gonna last for years. So I also, as I was making them, I had someone actually reach out to me and was like, hey, before you finish them, can I buy like 8 of them? And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, I burn with a pen or whatever, like a little burning iron. So she ended up burning a bunch of them. So she bought blanks for me. All I had to do was carve them out and sand them. And I just threw them in my Zamboni, and it was fine. And then I just sent them out to her. That was it. And I made money. I was like, wait, I don't have to finish these? It's amazing. So yes, I agree. If it was a couple months ago, I'd say, like, all right, you got the smaller piece of walnut, toss it. Now, especially with having a CNC and a laser, I'm like, nah. And honestly, what I've been doing lately is, if I have like a small thing of like, let's say an inch thick piece of walnut that's only like 8 inches by 8 inches, I'll resaw it and clean it up. And I'm going to put it in a laser, because a laser can cut way further through regular wood than it can through plywood, because there's no glue. So that's another thing you can do. You can do hardwood coasters or little signs or something. So that's something else you can do if you've got a laser. I don't know if you do, but just another tip. That's it.
Yeah, if there's a real value to you, use it. If it's a real hindrance to you, get rid of it. The next question is from Moses Cho, the Chomo,
The chosen Mo.
the chosen Mo, the Chogolo leader, Moses Cho.
Hey guys, it's me again, Mo Chosen with Trapasi Posse. I just wanted to hear you guys' opinion on resiliency. So for me, my experience with just after being burnt out and being tired, especially from woodworking, is that I need to take a break. I need to kind of get my mental straight and come back hard and strong and motivated. So breaks are really good for me and healthy for me, but it's not for everyone. I just wanted to hear you guys' method on how you guys bounce back up from being burnt out. I don't know, Mike, do you ever get burnt out? That's a good question too. Let me know, guys. Thanks.
Dan, how do you handle your work balance?
Well, I do this woodworking thing pretty much full time these days, as we've discussed in the past. Super important. And that's one of the reasons why my family and I will do the camping trips. I mean, everybody deserves a break. And, if you are prone to burnout, I mean, you got to give yourself a break. You can work 16-hour days, 7 days a week for an extended period of time and not be burnt out. I just don't see how that's possible. Give yourself breaks. What do you think, Pete?
I totally agree. I actually, around the holidays, I had a pretty bad burnout. It was actually post holidays, like January time. And for me, it was, I had to sit back and I remember, guys, we were talking about me trying to go full time. I was like, oh, I could have I could definitely make my salary if I was just pushing woodworking and 3D printing all the way.
Yeah.
But I was like, I would just be, instead of my hobby, I would be burning out and doing it as a job, and I would just not like it. And this was a stress reliever for me, so that's why I kind of wanted to keep it that way. So yeah, anytime I burn out, especially from Instagram, if I'm having bad numbers or whatever, or just a busy week, like this week was not a good week. I had some burnout days, and I simply just maybe didn't post, maybe didn't check in on Instagram. There was a couple messages. I always feel bad when I miss people's messages, like they tag me or something and I didn't see it. But sometimes you just got to put that phone down and not get in a shop, not post on Instagram, don't check up on anything. Just spend a day with your family. It's okay. I've been giving myself more permission to not do this. I am very serious about this. I want to grow. I want to keep doing this. I'm not in this part time. Clearly, I'm doing a podcast. I'm trying to grow on Instagram. I'm not to these guys' numbers, but like, I also had to dial it back and go, no, this is not my full time job. I have a full time job, and then I do this on top of it. And I have a family and friends, and I'd like to enjoy my life a little bit. So sometimes you have to just genuinely think, like, hey, what's important to me right now? Do I need to get a post out today? Or can I just take a little hit and just relax with my family? Think about that. Think about what's important to you. Mike, how do you feel?
I have a pretty long, I mean, it takes a while for me to get burned out. I can go for a pretty long time before I'm feeling burned out. But lately, I am doing a lot, and it has been burning me out more often. I was on the schedule of like every 2 to 3 weeks. I'd get to this 3-week mark, and it would kind of just, the candle would be burned out, and I needed to take a break. Now it's happening to me like once a week, and I just am kind of been taking Mondays off from. Well, I go to work on Mondays, but instead of going into the shop in the evening, I'm kind of just going in the house after work and doing administrative stuff, and that's kind of relaxing for me. I can just sit in front of the TV with my wife, watch a show, and work on the computer. Also, I don't take long. I mean, I just need one day to recharge usually. Usually, if I can just get a day off, or I can just go to bed early, wake up the next day, I'm usually good. And it's kind of where I've set myself up for right now. Like I just, it is what it is. Like you just got to do things sometimes. You got to get it done. I agree with Dan and Pete. You got to give yourself a break every once in a while. But I've set myself up in a situation right now where I consciously decided that okay, the next few months you don't really get a break. I'm chasing something right now. So, but after this month's over, I'll be able to have a better schedule, and I'll be able to I'm going to start taking Sundays off. I won't go in the shop on Sundays anymore.
Nice.
I'll probably work 16 hours a day in the shop Monday through Saturday. But that's is what it is.
I think in the last couple of weeks you've hit. So several weeks ago, I think you were just mostly, physical, like go, go, go. But I think now you're dealing with physical and mental, like at the same time.
It's a lot
And
of
that's
stress.
probably why you can't
dealing
go like 3 weeks like you usually do.
I can't go a week. I'm doing the transition at work. It's really hard. There's a lot to it. And I have a lot of work right now. Coffee Custom Builds has a lot of work right now. And I'm balancing and juggling a lot of stuff, and I'm juggling a lot of schedules. Client expectations is what I should say. I'm juggling a lot of client expectations that are just kind of changing. They're like, hey, we actually need this a little sooner. Which on one hand, we didn't agree to that. But on the other hand, I need to provide customer service and do everything I can to get that for them. But the initial agreement was a specific date, and this isn't me complaining. That's just my job. My job is to balance customer expectations. That's part of my job. So it's not a complaint. It's just something I have to figure out. But now I'm just dealing with a lot of stuff right now. And then the other, like Pete was saying about social media burnout and content burnout. Instagram's been like really terrible for me.
So weird lately.
Like the first of the year, like it's just been really bad. But the last month or two has been really bad.
We have all seen negative numbers for the first time ever. Like
I didn't see any negative numbers yet, but I mean,
it's just me and Dan. Okay,
but well, I haven't. That's the truth.
No,
I
know.
Numbers, but I mean, I haven't seen it. But the numbers are bad. They're really bad numbers. Like they're not good. And on one hand, I really do like just making content, and I'm trying to focus on. I really do like making posts and the process of that. On the other hand, it's not as fun when the growth isn't there. It's just not. Like I'm not going to lie about it. Like I want to grow my page. That's why I'm here. And people who like say they don't, I don't believe them. Like as soon as it's like, oh, I'm not in it for the number. I don't believe
we
them.
all want to grow our page.
Yeah, I just don't believe them. Like they say that they're, oh, I'm just here for this thing. I just don't believe them. Like, you know, Jake's asking about how he can focus in on the social media aspect. Well, the reason he wants to do that is because he wants to grow a page, and there's nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't feel bad about that. So when the numbers aren't there, I mean, for the first time in, I started this 2 years ago. I took like a day off from. I didn't post one Tuesday like last week or the week before or something, and that was the first time I had missed a day in like 10 months. Man, it felt great. It felt so good. I didn't check stories. I didn't really respond to DMs, and I hate doing that because I really try to be super responsive to people. But you know, I'm gonna be real honest. When a post does 5,000 views, which is really, really bad for me, and everything's relative. So someone might say that's really good, but for me, that is really, really bad. And when it hits like 200 likes, like really bad, I was just like, I can't even deal with this right now. I just need to, isn't doing what it needs to do for me. So I needed to set it aside. And you have to do that with things. You have to set things aside and just walk away sometimes. And I took that day off and it felt really great. And it sucks because I have a community on Instagram. I have followers and they interact with me. And that is important to me. I like interacting with people a lot. I really like that community that I have there. It's really important to me. But I needed to take a day off, and that's the bottom line. So, and I had to like convince myself to not feel bad about it. But you can't, you know? And in the grand scheme of things, missing a day, it doesn't matter. You miss a day posting on Instagram, it doesn't matter. I can go into all the numbers and how all this stuff works and like how to really grow your page, and that's consistency. Missing a day doesn't matter. Missing 2 weeks every 4 weeks is probably going to matter, but missing one day every few weeks is not going to matter. It's just not, especially when you hit a certain number. So if you're posting, you know, if you go really strong for 4 weeks and then you don't post for 2 weeks and then you go strong again for 1 week and then you don't post again for 3 weeks, that's not going to grow a page. You're just not. But you need to keep yourself relevant and active on the page if you're talking about growth. But in terms of needing breaks, you just got to go like what really is important right now. And on that day, I was dealing with a lot at work, and I was dealing with really bad numbers on Instagram, and I was dealing with a lot of stuff with Coffee Custom Builds, and Instagram had to take the back seat that day.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line.
It's never good when like
priorities.
That is like you're having a rough week or a day, and then Instagram's also not performing, and you're just like, no, I'm done.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, that's my answer. This next one's from Nathan Snyder. This is what he's got to say.
Hey guys, I got an upgrade question. I have a 3 horsepower Grizzly table saw and a 2 horsepower single stage dust collector. The dust collector is ducked into all my tools, and I want to upgrade to a Clearview Cyclone, but I also want to upgrade to a saw stop because of the safety aspect. Would you just keep the 2 horsepower, you know, dust collection system and get a saw stop, or would you keep the Grizzly and upgrade to a more powerful dust collection system? Both are important to me, and I want both, but only one is optional right now.
Dan,
I would 100% upgrade the saw first. I mean, it's got the biggest impact on what you're doing, and it's got that safety feature. I mean, let's be honest, you're not going to rip your hand off on the dust collector. That's a no-brainer to me, I feel like. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I don't know which one he has. He has a 2 horsepower single stage. I'm assuming it's a Harbor Freight. 2 horsepower dust collector is really powerful.
2 horsepower is powerful.
That's really good. Like, I understand that Clearview. The Clearview is really nice. I'd actually like to get one in my next shop. Is the 5 horsepower Clearview? I'd really like to get one. I want to keep my P-Flux 3 and get a Clearview really bad. That's what I want to do. I want to power my shop with a Clearview, and I want to keep the P-Flux 3 for my miter station and my CNC. That Clearviews are really nice. The table saw is definitely the priority. I don't think there's any question that the table saw is a priority here. You have a working dust collector. You don't need a Cadillac for a dust collector. Nice to have for a dust collector. You don't need it as long as you have one that works well. Pete.
Yeah, table saw. Again, get it. A saw stop would be a much better upgrade because that is the last table saw you'll ever buy. For foreseeable future. Dust collector, what you're describing is a adequate dust collection system for any or most common shops. Anything beyond that is like it's a really nice upgrade, but like is not necessary. First of all, you have a dust collector. Most people have like a 3/4 horsepower super basic or like 1.5 horsepower. You got a 2 horsepower dust collector. That thing's plenty powerful. It's gonna be fine. I don't think you're doing anything, on a scale where you need to go to like a P-Flux or Clearview system. So I think you're fine with that. That's going to probably last you a lot longer, and it's already ducted. Honestly, leave it. It's going to be easier to just replace that table saw.
Yep. All right. Next one's from Nick Pachi.
Hey guys, Nick from the Working Grain. So I got a little bit of extra money to spend, and I was hoping that you could help me out. I was trying to figure this out for the last few days and just can't seem to determine what's the best flavor of cheese curd to buy. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody knows that horseradish is the best. Anyways, I'm looking at upgrading one of my tools in the shop, and I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between a few. I have an older Delta table saw. I just put a new blade in it, and, it does just fine. Fine. Same thing with my planer. Older Delta planer gets the job done. So I was wondering what you guys would upgrade first between either a table saw or a planer. I was also considering a drill press. I know you guys have mentioned drill presses in the past. Just looking for some input. Thanks, guys.
Dan.
Once again, table saw. It's going to have the biggest impact on your work, I think. I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point.
Repeating yourself. I'm gonna say table saw too. Yeah, any planer is better than no planer, so that's fine. Yet a table saw will make a huge difference. Upgrade the table saw if you can. Unless you have like one of those like deadly planers that Dan had.
Well, he does have a Delta. He didn't say which Delta.
When you said small table saw, I'm assuming like small contractor one. Honestly, that's gonna be the biggest improvement in your life, quality of life. Go table saw, because it's gonna be the most versatile thing. You replace a planer, it's just a planer. You replace a table saw, it's so many tools. It's a joiner, it's a planer, depending on what jig you build for it, you're gonna get a lot more out of it. So do that. Mike?
Yeah, table saw. There's no question. Yeah. Table saw. You gotta have a good table saw.
Hell yeah.
I don't know how bad his table saw is, but good table saw is just so important. So
okay, if you have something that's like one of those like rigid Delta wannabe contractor saws that are like floor standing, okay, maybe look at a better planer. But if you've got a contractor saw, upgrade that first.
Turning point in my shop, there's a few I can remember. Getting my bandsaw.
Yep.
That was for me a big turning point in my shop, and I was like, I was like, oh yeah, I love woodworking. This is so when I wasn't before woodworking, I didn't know what a bandsaw did or was. And then I started like falling down this Duressa rabbit hole and be like, oh, you can resaw, you can change the size. And the bandsaw does so many things. That was a turning point for me. Getting a real table saw was a huge turning point for me. I went from a Craftsman, like a late 70s Craftsman contractor saw to the Laguna F2. And man, I just remember that first weekend. I could not stay out of my shop. I was just cutting up stuff I didn't even need to cut. I was just out there just like, oh, this is just unreal. It was unreal. Had a thin curve glue line rip blade. Just went through it like butter. Everything was square and straight. And it was just, I didn't have to keep adjusting. Like my table saw before that, I just had to adjust and adjust and adjust and adjust. I had to constantly be adjusting my fence, and my arbor was always going out of 90. It was just nonstop. And then you get a good table saw and it's like, man, this is just so nice. And you get a good table saw, you start taking it for granted because you stop thinking about when it just works and you don't have to constantly think about it.
Yep.
I have to like remember back to when I had that just garbage table saw, and I just remember, I'd run 6 things through it. I'd have to readjust the arbor and set it back to 90. And I have one of those digital, angle
finder.
Yeah, but I stopped using that because I don't actually like trust those sometimes. I don't feel like those digital ones are always 100%. But I have like those machinist squares, and I just remember every time I just have to keep checking it. Table saw is where it's at. It's
Preach.
It's a big change.
Yes.
So that is it for questions.
Oh wow.
Big thank you to all of you for listening. Keep sharing the show. Like I said, check that Google form Pete's going to put down in the show notes. We really do want your feedback on that. We don't really know where that's going to land. We are really curious. We just kind of think that Friday nights are going to be less available for people as things start opening up, but we're just not sure. Maybe that's the
especially in
night
the summer with the weather being nice and everything.
Yeah, people are going to want to be out. Maybe back in the fall and the winter, we'll kick it back to Fridays and see where things are. But I think we need to be active and listen to what you guys have to say or think about that stuff. So that's on us to make sure we're providing the best time schedule for you guys to join us. So
we want to ask you guys, because we care about you guys. That's it.
Yeah, we care. We do the show for you. So please let us know. Big thanks to you. Big thanks to our patrons. You guys are amazing. Big thanks to everyone who shares the show. Keep sharing the show. I had a couple people ask this week how to send in a question, which I guess we must not have been saying. It's in the show notes, but send your questions to anotherwoodshop@gmail.com. It's best if you record a voicemail on the voice memo app on your phone. You can also call in to the Google voice line, which I don't recall, but Pete had, I think it's 7757 call AWP.
Nope, not even close.
Nope.
It is 754-225-5297. 754-2255. It's 754 call AWP. You were off by a lot. Yeah, by a lot.
By a lot of one numbers.
Well, technically, if you count it as a number, you were off by like 1 million.
Okay. I was off by 1 million points.
1 million.
That is it for the show. Big thank you to all you guys. You're amazing.
And gals.
Yeah. Guys is what's up, Dan?
Sure.
Dan's got something to say.
One thing, one quick thing.
Of course.
CVN-65 is a designation of the U.S. Navy's first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, the USS Enterprise.
Whoa.
That's cool. Like the one that went into space? Engage.
No, aircraft carrier.
Okay. All right. Well, big thanks to everyone. I don't know what else. I'm all thrown off now.
You started this, Mike. Okay, you started this. I just want you to remember.
Bye.
I love you
long time.
Bye. Love you long time. Bye. Kill it.